today I am going to answer to the comments on my previous video on YouTube, which was the War Thunder yapping session 2, and the one comment that I want to address here, I'll put it on screen. You asked me to give you a quick rundown on how to play the F2A ADTW, which pretty much how I'm gonna play this plane applies also to the F2A in the tech tree. Only difference is that the F2A in the tech tree gets Fox 3 missiles instead of just having Fox 1s, which is a good upgrade, but overall it's the exact same vehicle, so no big difference there. Except I don't know if this one does the premium one also get all this ordnance? Oh yeah, it does. Okay, so it is just the same plane. Okay, so exact same plane, just different missiles. So first off, what you'll want to do is if you're new, go uh, right click on it, click crew, and you want to max out the G tolerance and the stamina. G tolerance is gonna give you a well, it's gonna make your pilot sustain more G forces, so he won't black out as quickly, and you won't lose control as much. And then you want stamina, because if he does black out, or if not, it takes him longer to black out, and it yet takes him less time to get out of the blackout. Um, after that, I would just like upgrade all of these a certain amount, and the other ones really don't do anything except if you are playing ground realistic battles, you should max out the repair rank and then max out the repair speed so it gets repaired faster in ground realistic battles, because you can't J out there to get a fast repair because it'll just J you out of the whole vehicle and you won't have an ability to respawn it. The reload speed, you should also upgrade the reload speed if you are upgrading the repair speed for ground realistic battles. So, and then let's talk about what loadouts you should take. I always recommend making your own presets that you're going to play with, just so you have an easier time looking for them and selecting them. For example, I have preset 1, which is just air-to-air, which I have AM3s and AIM-7Ms. Then the second one is for long-range base bombing with 3 JDAM ERs, GBU-64, carrying 1 AIM-7 because 3 of these are way more than enough to take out 1 base. But there is also no better ordnance that I can swap out for these JDAMs. And then we have the non-guided bombs, the dumb bombs, which you can take more of them, or no, you can't. You shouldn't take more of them, but you can take more AIM-7s with just dumb bombs. So you should consider having a look at what you want your plane to do. And then just the anti-ship loadout, just for fun. There's no particular reason for me to have these right here. I don't take a targeting pod because for anti-ship missiles you need your plane's radar to lock onto a ship. So these pretty much just don't even need a targeting pod. You only need the targeting pod if you're trying to use like laser guided anti-tank missiles. Or not missiles but bombs, since this one doesn't get any missiles. All of these are GPS though. That is very interesting. This one doesn't get any laser guided bombs. That is very interesting. So the targeting pod on this plane is completely useless. Except I guess if you're trying to guide in GPS bombs. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Anyways, let's get to what I use for my plane. So, um, I'm just gonna click on test flight to show you guys. So I take air target 20mm belts, although you can take stealth if you just don't want the enemy knowing that you're shooting at them. Otherwise, don't really recommend any of these other ones. For ground padding, you wouldn't want to use your cannon, especially at this battle rating, unless you're trying to go for ground target kills and ARB, but that's kind of why uh, these unguided rockets exist. And you get a whole bunch of them, so make good use of them if you do actually want to carry them. I split my flare and chaff in half, like I do on practically every single plane that I own. For the F5, for example, I take more flares because there's less radar missiles at 11.3 than there is at 13.0. And for fuel, I just take, for the F2, I usually take maximum fuel. Why was it set at 39? And I'm sure there's a reason for this, although I don't know what the reason is. I would just take max fuel just to test, just to see how much fuel. Just start off with maximum fuel. If you see that you're not using that much fuel, just take like about 5% off and then see if that's enough or something like that. It will take you a few battles to get used to the plane anyways. So for radar mode, I'm just gonna go into the test drive and show you guys. So for radar mode, you would usually want to use TWS and switch the range of the TWS to 74 kilometers, just so you actually can see something. You don't need it at 74 kilometers, but it's good to have that situational awareness, so I'll just set it higher. For the radar scope scale, what's it called? Change radar, see search mode, yeah, that one. That just changes how big the scope scale on your radar is. As you can see, this one's the smallest. It searches a 30 by 10 radius. And then you have 60 by 10 and 60 by 20. I use 16 by 10, 60 by 10, sorry, because you don't need that much vertical area, and 10 degrees is already quite a lot. And 60 is just so you have a wider range of view, just for your own situational awareness, I'd say. For the F2, there really is only two modes, 2 to 3 modes that you're going to be using for the radar. That is TWS. Then the other important one, which you're going to use for air-to-air combat, is ACM PD. You should have this bound to one of your keybinds, uh, just so you can activate it quicker. Which in here that would be change radar slash RST mode to. Oh, it's not even here. Sorry, my bad then. I don't know which one it is. I have it on Alt, but I'm not sure which one of these buttons it is. Just change it to range. Oh, it's radar IRST beyond visual range combat. Okay, so yeah. So you want this to switch between your CQC mode and your BVR mode. Then you need this one to switch your scope scale. And then this one if you want to switch the change radar slash IRST mode if you want to switch between TWS, TWS HDN, which you shouldn't be using, TWS GMTI, and C. TWS C is another one which you might use if you're playing like simulator and looking for C targets to launch your ASM-1s at, or something of that matter. And then I would also have my switch radar on and off, that I would also have bound to something. For example, I have it on R, just to turn it on and off, to not let the enemies know that I am incoming. For example, like if you know that you're close to someone, I would turn my radar off so they don't know that I'm coming. After that, there is another really important keybind which you should have. I think it's the select radar slash IRC target to lock. And of course the lock target IRST on target, that's also really important, especially for the F2. I'll show you why. So for example, I will switch to ACM now, and it just locks immediately. So what ACM does, it switches from this searching mode to this mode, which will automatically lock if it sees something in its perimeter. Um, then there is also the whatever it was here somewhere. I can show you with I think this new thing that they did. Well, here, this one, mouse. For me, it's mouse wheel up. But what this does is, if there is multiple targets on your TWS or a search, it will switch which one it is currently soft locking. So what this button does here is it switches the target that you are currently soft locking. For example, this is a soft lock right now. I am not hard locked, so he's not getting a track warning at the moment if he would be a real player. Although if I press the lock button, which I think in my case would be the yeah, number pad 3, which hard locks him. Now he's getting a track warning, and now I can also fire off my AIM 7Ms because the AIM 7Ms need a hard lock to fire. The reason for this is because they are a Fox 1 missile, and they don't have their own guidance system. If we switch back to TWS, it's actually not working too well. It doesn't pick up that MiG-15 back there. Okay, well, that's too bad. Not going to be able to show you guys that in that case. Well, that is pretty much the basics of the plane. I may have explained it a bit poorly, but I hope it's at least somewhat understandable. So, you use TWS to acquire a target soft lock, then use the lock target button, and then just activate your radar missiles, and when there is like 2 circles around the thing that you want to shoot at, is when the missile is ready to go. And that green thing there, the little green circle, is the optimal shooting angle, which of course, usually I don't really care, I just shoot, and the missiles usually pull enough Gs by themselves. Of course, these are AIM-7s, so these are a bit sketchy to do that with, but usually they will be able to pull enough Gs just to hit a target that is that is like off angle. I can demonstrate it a bit here. Where's the other MiG-15? For example, this one's coming towards me. You can also use your ACM to lock. I already said this, but for example, like this, it's gonna pull enough Gs to. It doesn't even have to pull that hard to get on target. The AIM-7M, or any AIM-7 in general, is a pretty unreliable missile, so don't be surprised if it sometimes just decides to stop tracking the target, or just fly into the ground, or maybe start guiding onto a teammate. It's completely normal to happen sometimes. Just you have to be careful while using the ACM on any plane, because they will lock teammates. Well, the ACM is not going to care that it's a teammate, it's just going to lock anything that it sees in this radius, for example. See how it just locks on instantly? It will do the same to your teammates. Although on TWS, it's gonna like not. It's if you're using TWS, it's not gonna let you lock a teammate because they're gonna be automatically filtered out. They will still pop up on your radar screen, but they will not. You're not gonna be able to lock them with TWS because it's just not gonna track them. A little bit about the IR missiles. You can do a thing that's called radar slaving, where, for example, you lock something with your radar, and the IR missile just, yeah, the IR missile just locks onto the target that you have radar locked. That's called radar slaving. Of course, these missiles say they have IRCCM, but but with any missiles that allegedly has IRCCM, you have to be a bit careful, because Of course, they still work best from rear aspect. I might say they are all aspect and have IRCCM. That doesn't mean that they are unflareable, even if you're shooting from a side aspect or even a rear aspect. They're actually easier to flare from a rear aspect than a side aspect sometimes. Maybe y'all want me to make a more detailed video about how radars work and how to shoot flares and chaff correctly and how to notch and do all of that. But maybe for another video then. Write down in the comments what you want to see as well, guys. But I think that was it for the F2A yapping. There's nothing really too special about this plane. It's quite easy to fly. There's nothing really truly challenging about the F2A that should cause you like any big problems or issues. Of course, if you have any questions, write them down in the comments. I'll try to answer them ASAP. So, I don't know, just I also want to say thank you all. The last video I made got like so much attention, like 450 views is just insane. That is, I didn't expect that at all. It wasn't really taken off after the first day, and I thought it was kind of just a dead video, but y'all made it happen. It's at 450 views right now, and we finally hit 10 likes on the video. That is amazing for an actual like longer style YouTube video for me. Um, so thank you guys so much. Please like the video as well here. Help me out. Trying to grow my audience a bit. Y'all can also check me out on TikTok. Check out the previous few videos I made, which are talking about the sales and, well, the sales that were. Well, I guess that doesn't really matter. But thank y'all for watching. Love you guys. Goodbye.